Hello everyone, today's demo I'm going to show you guys how to draw a human face from the front view in correct proportion. Let's get started.
Okay, so the first thing we want to start with on the front view face is we're going to start with an oval. I'm going to start with my lighter pencil here because a lot of this we're just building the structure. Some of it we'll keep, some of it we will get rid of. So I'm just going to draw an oval. That was a nice little oval. Did I have to get it that nice? No. It could be very sloppy. You don't have to be able to draw well to embark on this process. One of the first things I want to really establish here is that your eyes do not belong on the top of your head. That's a very common misconception. Because of our hairline, a lot of people feel like our eyes are up closer to the top of our head than they actually are. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line. Your eyes are actually halfway in the middle of your head. So I'm going to draw a line about halfway in the middle of the head here. And I'm going to use my pencil to measure. I recommend you do the same. So I actually went a little high here. I mean a little low here. So I'm going to say something like that. And then we're going to go and put our nose in halfway between that. So I'm going to go to that top line there that I put in. I'm going to say somewhere around half is something like this. So let's measure that and see before we finish our line out. That is about right. Okay, and then I want to go ahead and say halfway between my bottom of my nose and my chin is where my mouth will go. So maybe just a hair lower. All right. So now that we got that done, what we want to do, put our lines in. All right. And we want to decide where we're going to put our eyes. Usually our eyes are about an eye width apart. So I'm going to say somewhere around right here in the center. If I'm going to make my eyes about this big, then that means I'm going to go ahead and put them about that far apart. Okay, so that's where my eyes are going to go. So right here, I'm going to put one eye in, put another eye in. Okay, so that's where I'm saying my eyes are. And another very important thing is you want to make sure you give your figure some eyelids. So that's very uncommon. One of the things we want to do when we're drawing an eye is we want to make sure that at least part of this pupil and iris structure here is covered by the eyelid, either by the top or bottom or both. A lot of times if you look at people, a lot of times their pupil and their iris are a little bit covered by their top lid. But you can have both. It really all just depends on what kind of person you are, what height you're looking at people, all kinds of things like that. But one of the things that's really going to make this person look more authentic is if it has eyelids. Okay. Also, I want to go ahead and say the best option for us in this class at the beginning level, you just want to suggest your nose. We're making these drawings as line drawings. A lot of times too, your nose will go anywhere from between your eyes to between your pupils, okay? Usually somewhere around in between your eyes. Just depends though, everybody's a little different. If your nose is a little bigger than this, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, see, I'm just kind of suggesting a nose. And we'll look at some different noses in class that you could try and make that were just little generic noses. And we would also, I would really encourage you to look at the person you're drawing and really just try to match what their features are. So these are just a standard guideline. A lot of people fit into this. All right, so we basically came up here and did the bottom of our nose right here at that line. So we kind of even that up. As far as the mouth goes, some people like to put the top lip on the top part of the line, the bottom lip on the bottom part of the line. And some people like to go and put the bottom lip on the top of the line. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the bottom lip on the top of the line because I think that's a little more accurate. So we don't know what this is yet. We're going to put our eyebrows in just slightly above our eye. Okay. So we can start putting in some details now. Maybe some eyelashes. We don't know if this is going to be male or female yet, but depending, maybe I'll do half and half because there are some differences, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and put in our little line dividing our lip. If you notice, I put in some of these little shapes here to go ahead and make it look more realistic. And depending on the person you're drawing, that's what's depending on what the lip's going to look like, just like with the nose. But another thing that's very generic is a lot of times your mouth fits right in between your pupils, just like this. Somewhere right in there. Not everybody, but many people. All right, and as you notice, I have just suggested a nose because if you try to draw out your nose, every line captured, you're going to create a monster because you don't see your nose with line. You see your nose with subtle shading. And so when we're doing a strictly line drawing, you can't really represent that shading very well. All right. So I think what we'll do is we will make one side feminine. We'll make one side masculine. I'll show you the differences now that we're to that stage. So one of the things that you're going to find is that a male overall, let's go ahead and flatten this out a little bit. A male in general is going to have a more squared off jaw. Kind of more chiseled features. But not always. Whereas a female is going to have like a softer, more dainty jaw. It's not going to be as robust as a male's. Okay. I'm also going to accentuate her eyelashes a little. And then I'm going to show you how to put on the hair. And we're going to put on two different kinds of hair. So this is going to be interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to come on over here. And one of the important things about hair is you got to have hair above the line of the head and below it. So you don't have hair just growing off the top of your head. And you don't have hair just growing inside your skull. Okay, you're going to have hair both above and below this line, all right? So that's really important. So we're just going to split this person's hair right down the middle because we're splitting their face in the middle. So we'll see how this works. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll keep the part over here. I'll be kind of creative. So we'll say this guy's got a part over here. He's going to have probably something like this for a male. All right, believe it or not, your ear is going to be somewhere pretty close to between your nose and your eyebrow. Maybe slightly under your brow, maybe right up under the nostril of your nose. So something like this. Somewhere around in there is where your ear's going to be. It's going to change depending on how you tilt your head. Let's soften up our nose a little here on this side. All right. Let's get rid of our line we split down the middle here. All right, now we're going to come over here and put in our hair on this side. Now, we could come and, tuck the hair behind the ear if we want to for this person. That is a possibility. But we can also just cover it up. So it really is up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. What I suggest is do whatever the person you're actually drawing has. Okay, so that's my recommendation for that. Now, this isn't a course on how to draw a perfect human. This is more of a, how do you do some standard basic proportions for human drawing? And so because of that, we're not going to take the time to fill this in with value and really make this look like a finished product and really worry about some of the details. We want to get this done in time to be turned in. But if you keep going over this over and over with more and more line at different levels, different amounts of pressure being pushed down or different values on your pencils, you can actually come up with very realistic hair. And so maybe I'll do a demo like that to show you guys how you could do that if you wanted to, if you had time. Another thing is a lot of people don't realize your neck is actually almost about as wide as your head. It may be a little more narrow for females. So for our male side, we're going to go ahead and bring it straight down. On our female side, we might dip in just a little. But, a lot of people, we do these anime people now where they have big heads, big eyeballs. And then they have like no nose. And the reason we don't draw that nose is because it's really hard to draw with lines. So they try to avoid it altogether. And then we give them a little bitty neck, okay? But really your neck's going to be somewhere as wide as your head, okay? So we want to avoid that kind of anime style for this because anime it's the incorrect proportions on purpose. Okay. All right. So here we go. We got our half and half here, slightly more feminine. This side slightly more masculine, and most of that comes down to the shape of the jaws. That masculine jaw is going to be more squared off. So you see, I have to sculpt this. I start off with a circle, with an oval, and then I have to come in and sculpt in the details. I also did, maybe slightly larger ears on the guy, but it really doesn't. That's not really a really good judge of what we should be doing. I just wanted to do that. I also gave the guy more bushy eyebrows because, ladies in our culture, they tend to keep their eyebrows plucked and things like that. But that's not necessarily means one's more masculine, one's more feminine. Maybe in our culture it means that. Okay, so here we go. This would be our correct proportions for a human. And so one of the things I want you to concentrate on and make sure you get is when we're putting in our eyes, we want to make sure we get highlights in them. You see those shiny little lights that I left in there? That's going to really make this drawing look more lifelike, because if you're alive, you're going to have a highlight in your eye because you're going to have damp eyes. The only people with dry eyes are dead people. So you definitely want to come in and make sure you put in those highlights. That's going to make your drawing look so much more realistic. It's going to make those eyes pop so much more. And it's going to make your drawing so much better. So you want to make sure you cover those eyelids, cover those pupils and iris just a little bit with your eyelids. You want to make sure you get in the highlights in the eyes. Eyes halfway in the middle of the head. Nose halfway in the middle of the eyes and the chin. Mouth halfway in the middle of the nose and the chin. So it's half, half, and half. All right, so it's a pretty simple formula, right? And your ears are going to go somewhere pretty well close to filling in the area between your nostril and your bottom of your eyebrow here. And it could go above it or below it depending on how you're tilting your head, okay? So just draw what you see, but these are some basic guidelines here. Mouth between the pupils, nose between the eyes, eyes about an eye width apart. I might have got those a little close. And then you want to come back in. Remember, you're starting with an oval, so you want to come back in here and sculpt in this jaw a little bit, okay? So don't leave him like that. And some things to avoid. Okay, we don't want a bubble head with a pig nose. We want to try to avoid the pig nose. No eyelid eyes. And hair on top of the head only. So this would be a solid no. This would be a very bad grade. Another very popular one would be the skinny neck, bone nose. I don't know why. I get it. That's a really popular nose for people to try to draw. So we want to avoid the bone nose. Once again, almond-shaped eyes with 0 eyelid coverage. We want to avoid that. Actually, we want to avoid the eyes being up too high, right? So they're too high on this one. Let's just really exaggerate on this one because I really get some crazy stuff in this class. So make sure you pay attention. You know, and as strange as this looks, I guarantee you I'm going to get somebody who does this, and this person's going to put the hair only inside the skull, okay? Don't do that either. That's also a solid no. Both of these don't hit any points on the rubric. And, you know, you might be laughing right now, but I guarantee you someone's going to try to turn something like this in. I'm going to have to find them before they do this and show them the right way during my laps, okay? So these are solid no. This is the yes. All right. Good luck, guys. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Still missing something. I think I know what it is. There we go. Now that is an attractive guy. I knew it was missing something. It was missing the beard. Okay. Much, much better. All right. Until next time.